I'm so terrible at everything.
Last email this week comes from Danny in New Zealand.
Oh.
Hey guys, still loving the show. You're pretty awesome.
After all these years?
My question is a hard one to word. I've heard you talk about a single system future, and I was wondering what your thoughts are on the possibility of consoles, our future PS5s and Xbox 2s, being shipped with their basic specs, and as technology develops, the company's producing spec-enhancing expansions, like PC has with graphic cards and the like. Do you think this is a possibility over having an entirely new console every generation?
People have tried it, and so far, it's never worked well.
Talking about like the N64?
I'm talking about the N64. I'm talking about the TG16 or the PC Engine in Japan, which was effectively like this Katamari of hardware that you just kept plugging in to make the thing more powerful through generations.
You know what else did that? The NES. Because games had chips in them that expanded the capabilities of the system.
The cartridges had the extra.
The cartridges did.
And then that's when it did work on the
now
NES.
That they're away from that, it's you would have to make some kind of additional add-on. But if we went back to cartridges, I'm just saying everything would be okay.
Yeah, that's right. And the NES, the SNES did that. Even the Genesis did that on Virtua Racing, and it worked on all those.
What's funny about the N64 expansion pack, which is the era that I mainly was gaming heavily as a teenager, was I thought that made games like expansion pack games looked so good. Like Majora's Mask looks so much better than Ocarina, because it required
I don't remember
that
the
expansion
difference.
pack. But now in hindsight, they look exactly like now that we have the distance of time, I can't tell the difference. Between
What ends up happening?
But when you're in the moment, I'm like, oh man, this frame rate and this draw distance, and like I would put the expansion pack in, and it would.
But remember, for that and for other examples that we would all share, you have to still make the game work at this one way and then look better at this other way, and that is the problem
There were
with
really
something
tangible,
like that.
I think in Perfect Dark, you could have more bots in multiplayer if you had the expansion pack.
Perfect Dark with the expansion pack had significant differences. And you end up splitting your market because you do
that's
the
what
problem.
I was getting at.
Yeah, right.
Well, but if the game still runs on the old hardware, you don't technically split your market. Like that's the ideal way to do it.
That would be the ideal way to
and
do
then
it.
that limits how much you can adjust.
Right.
So you can adjust things like more bots, you can adjust graphics, but you can't make a like a generational leap.
Right. There's accusations of
Because one game will always be super nerfed.
right. So many games coming out on last gen and next gen has the accusation is that it nerfs the current gen version.
Holds them back.
It nerfs the Xbox One and PS4 version because they look prettier and have better particle effects, but they can't go absolutely crazy with their game design and systems because it eventually has to work on the previous gen as
Which
well.
leads to the temptation to make a clean break, but then you end up with a tower of power. You end up with a Genesis with a CD with a 32X all plugged in together in each other, and it's just this
Game Genie.
nightmare. Yeah.
Sonic and Knuckles.
Sonic and Knuckles and a Game Genie. They made a special power adapter to put
What are those
under,
weird tall Genesis
under the
games?
tower. Well, you had to plug all the components in separately. So Sega made a power bar that you put at the bottom of the tower of power that it sat on, just that you could plug everything into and made it even taller.
I had 2 power strips for my Sega 32X CD setup.
You had a 32X CD setup?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no kidding.
I played Star Wars Arcade on it.
Wow. That game's not bad.
It's good.